Shalom, Israel. It's your boy Nubreed, aka Brother Emmanuel, coming through with a very important topic. I have a very special guest today, Mr. MJ Energy, and we're going to be speaking about the solar eclipse. And this particular topic is going to be very edifying. It's going to be pretty much groundbreaking, the type of information that we're about to put on display here. And I believe it's going to open a lot of eyes. And I believe it's going to definitely break down what's happening in the near future. And we're going to really talk about this thing and dig into this. So with no further ado, Mr. MJ Energy. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Greetings, everyone. This is your light worker brother, MJ Energy, tapping into your consciousness. Once again, I'm here with my brother, my boy Nubreed. It's funny how me and Nubreed actually came to acquaintance and then later on a friendship. The spiritual path from the Most High always seems to have a red thread that connects people and crosses people in life. And to acquire a good friend like Nubreed shows the power within inside of the spiritual devotion and the spiritual path that all human beings should be following.
Most
so the way that
definitely.
I actually came across Nubreed in his YouTube channel was through the spiritual path of sperm retention within the male energy body and accumulating energy inside the male energy body. That's the way that I was actually able to tap in to Brother Emmanuel, or aka Nubreed. So
Most definitely.
just shout out to my man Nubreed just for a little while. And before we actually begin this excerpt, if we could, Nubreed, I would like to actually say a really quick prayer for the brothers and sisters listening, and then that way also Yahweh, the highest that is, can actually come through both of us in this interview and speak through us. Because that's the only way that this is actually going to be groundbreaking and cataclysmic, if you will, as you said.
Most definitely. That's
So without further ado, let's just really quick do a real quick meditation/prayer. If you want to just bow your heads, close your eyes, wherever you are on this global node. And we would like to say, cosmic awareness, the Most High and all that is, please allow Brother Nubreed and I to receive the information and to translate and transmit that to the most approximate way that we can, so that the brothers and sisters who are hearing this information can absorb it in the most comprehensive way and be able to understand it and regurgitate that as well to all of those who surround them, so that all of us have the most capable ability to understand, not understand, but understand what's going on with this celestial event that is on the fold and on the cusp of happening. In the Most High we pray, amen.
amen.
All right, man.
Let's go. And I want to say,
Go ahead and start off with this.
and I want to say, brother, I thank you for the love you displayed so far. And I want to say, man, it's definitely reciprocated. And before we dive right into the solar eclipse, there's actually a few questions I wanted to ask you as well before we dive in, because I know that topic is going to be pretty much most of the conversation and most of the interview. So, but it's some other things and concepts that I found very interesting on your channel, and I was hoping that you can quantify some of them and basically, briefly speak about them, because a few of them interest me, and I want to question you. Basically, transhumanism, before we dive in, that was one of those topics I found very interesting, just viewing your channel. And I wanted to, for my listeners, I know that they would really appreciate that topic, because I haven't spoken on that myself. And I just want to know if you could just quantify that in a nutshell briefly for the people, what transhumanism is, if you don't mind.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
No doubt about that.
All right.
So, this concept known as transhumanism is actually not a new concept. And I'm going to keep this as brief and as comprehensive as possible, because I feel that, when you're going into some kind of teachings like this, if it's not comprehensive and the audience don't understand, then it's actually doing more harm than it is good. But in a nutshell, understanding behind transhumanism is that right now, what is going on here in the planetary system that is known as, or in this realm that we dwell, as society that we're actually surrounded by is an inorganic society. And it being an inorganic society and us not following our perfect path of spirituality and devotion, and ultimately being surrounded by an inorganic system that thrusts us into a very technological, very industrial, and very economic surrounding is actually changing the course of human psychology, human physiology, and biology, and is kind of turning the wheel, if you should, so to speak, towards human beings actually becoming inorganic and mechanical themselves.
Wow.
The way that this is done actually is that human beings are an organic species, a very spiritual entity and being, and that when you thrust them into such a societal rhythm where the circadian rhythm is thrown off and our actual place in nature is thrown off, we tend to absorb these certain patterns of mechanical manipulation, if you will. So the powers that be have knowledge about how human psychology actually works. And for hundreds and hundreds of years now, leading up to now where we're actually in the age of information in the technological era, they've been able to distort the human psychology. And even contemporary science is showing that human beings nowadays are more depressed, have more ADHD, and have just a much more wide array of psychological health disorders.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because human beings are an inorganic species that is inside of an inorganic system and way of living. And that is what this whole era is about. That's why this whole era is called the era of strife that we're in. Through my own spiritual and metaphysical research, we are in now inside of the planetary system, the era of strife. So these powers that be, and just let alone the societal rhythm of what we're living on a day-to-day basis, having a 9 to 5, having all of these different technological apparatuses around us, and the way that it's being driven by social media, television, news, telling lies. You see, they're telling you how to have your vision now.
Pretty much.
So with that being said, this is why transhumanism is actually starting to happen, and the human consciousness is slowly but surely, and the human physiology and biology as well, is trying to slowly be shifted and tuned towards us being these robotic mechanisms of what we're actually not, an inorganic species inside of an organic species.
Oh yeah. That's definitely groundbreaking right there in itself, because hey, you can turn on the television and see some of these people on these shows and reality shows with all of the plastic surgery and all of that kind of stuff, you know, basically looking mechanical, looking robotic. And you can definitely see that taking place on a huge level, man. That was groundbreaking what you just dropped right there. And that's why it's actually very important to unplug from the social media and unplug from, you know, just basically spend time in nature and do things that are organic. Feed the body with things that's organic and just pretty much unplug sometimes. But that's definitely a good point, brother. Thanks for sharing that with me, brother.
Yeah, real quick, before we wrap that topic up too, I would like to drop the line in the note.
Okay.
That it's not necessarily that my train of thought is against technology, because with technology we've been able to stop a lot of diseases that have happened over the years and have killed hundreds of people. We've been able to make leaps and bounds as a human species because of technology. But the thing is about the way that the technological era and the age of information is going now is that we're actually forgetting our own biorhythm, and we're forgetting where we're actually coming from. And that's where all of the strife and things are actually coming from. So we have to learn as a species to be able to balance that. We have to balance the spiritual, the mental, and the physical body with the abilities of our intellect and our rationalization and our logic, the ability to balance technology and inorganic things and the human mind and organic things.
Most definitely. All right. With no further ado, brother, we're going to talk about the solar eclipse. I want you to share as much information you have on this, and after that, I'll basically share my views and what I have on it, and we'll definitely build on this. And by the end of this topic, I'm pretty sure it's going to be groundbreaking and eye-opening. All right, brother. Most definitely. So go ahead, brother. You have as much time allotted as you need, brother.
All right, man. Just interject whenever you need, because when I get fired up, especially in a time like right now, like I said, all that is my higher self and your higher self, all of ours together, actually starts to radiate through me. And this has been happening to me ever since I was a young child. I tend to stir away from the physical world, and I tend to bathe in this light and this information that I'm actually getting from the other side. So let's get into the Great American Eclipse. Let's make this, like you said, as free-flowing as possible, and interject whenever you have a comment, and I will obviously humble myself and allow you to interject and put in your 2 cents as well, brother.
Okay, most definitely. All right.
So, getting into it is, the viewers or the listeners right now do not have the head or the knowing, which a lot of people do not, because some people do not have the ability to check the news, or some people are just too caught up in their own physical reality to check the news. Basically, what's going on right now, and that's being released, a celestial event that is known as the Great American Eclipse is actually on the cusp of happening. The date for this that is actually happening is August 21st of 2017, and that's this Monday that is about to come up. A lot of people in America are actually starting, a lot of children, should I say, are starting school. There's a lot of things going on right now, so it's easy to get blindsided by an event like this. But basically, just going into it, this is the first total solar eclipse to cross the United States from the Pacific area to the Atlantic area, meaning West Coast to East Coast. There has been a continuous solar eclipse that happened in 1979, I think, where a continuous solar eclipse is basically when the whole United States can see it. However, what differs from the one that previously happened in 1918 is that, and the one that's coming up on August 21st, 2017, is that in totality, the eclipse will reach totality. The whole United States, or Northern America, and parts of Southern America and onward, will be able to see the eclipse, but it's actually traversing from West Coast to East Coast. And that's the thing that is very, I guess you could say, groundbreaking about this solar eclipse, because it actually hasn't happened in about 99 years. Again, the last time that this path was actually taken, and it's roughly almost the same path, was in June 8th of 1918. Just breaking down a little bit about astronomy, if you don't know what a solar eclipse is, or what they're claiming to be a solar eclipse, is when the moon passes between the sun and the earth at a specific time of day, and what happens then is the rays and the sunshine hit the moon, and it actually, since it's being blocked out, casts a shadow onto the planetary body of Earth, what they're calling it. See, the thing is about it, and what we're about to uncover to a lot of the listeners, however, is that it's physically, scientifically, and even when you think about it from a rational and logical standpoint, how many people like to these days, it's impossible for this planetary system that is causing the solar eclipse, which is what people are saying the moon is. It's impossible for the moon to be causing the solar eclipse because of a very few great details that we're about to go into.
Most definitely.
So the Great American Eclipse starts on August the 21st, 2017. It starts in the Pacific region of America. I think it's in Oregon, Lincoln Beach to be specific. It starts around 9 o'clock in the morning, and then it actually ends Atlantic time at 2:45 in Charleston, South Carolina.
And that's actually where I'm located as well, brother. Just to let the people know, that's where I'm at the moment. So it's definitely a big deal where I'm at. Traffic was crazy this morning. It's pretty much a holiday, and it's a huge event to these people out here. So, but go ahead, brother.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
I didn't even have knowledge of that.
Oh yeah. I'm actually located in North Charleston, South Carolina. So, and
yeah. So a lot of people right now, as you said, are
Oh yeah.
There's a bunch of tourists headed your way, and basically anywhere along that ribbon. So there's going to be a 167-mile wide ribbon is what NASA's putting out, where in totality that's where you'll be able to see it the most direct. Anywhere on from there, on that path from the Oregon to South Carolina, anywhere, north or south of where that ribbon is going to be, you can go on the website yourself and try to look at that. But anywhere north or south of that, the percentage is going to be broken down, but it will still have a major impact on that side of the planetary system and the planetary system as a whole.
Most definitely. I'm hoping to film it live as well too. So, that'll be something that I'll definitely upload when it actually happens. I'm hoping to film it. So that'll be a great thing. Yeah, for sure.
So before we get into the actual metaphysics and the spiritual impacts of the total solar eclipse, or what they're calling the Great American Eclipse, let's just speak about a few things with the truth about these kind of eclipses, because the truth about these eclipses are not actually being told by the so-called so-great space programs that we have, i.e. NASA. These entities and these foundations are actually corporations, and most of these are working for money, and they have a lot to do with putting on a show, putting on a stage, just like Hollywood. And they're not actually disclosing to us all the findings about these celestial events. One of the reasons why is because a lot of the way that human beings and contemporary science measure things and experiment on things won't allow you to tap into 100% what is going on in the heavens above. Because the heavens above and all of these different celestial forms, i.e. moons, planets, suns, stars, a lot of it is misunderstood by us because we are looking at things at a tangible, evident, and rational base, when these things do not reside in just that area. These things reside in a more spiritual, high frequency, and metaphysical area, because these things are in the heavens above. They're not on this planetary system. So that's one thing that we have to understand.
Oh, yeah.
The second thing is that they want to hide, these space programs want to hide the actual truth of what's going on, to hide the actual identity of spirituality and metaphysics. If the human being were to know of the groundbreaking effects of spirituality, and know about metaphysics, and know about higher sciences and natural sciences, this whole charade that is going on planet Earth would be thwarted, and that inorganic system that I was speaking about before would be thwarted. And that's the last thing that they want, because they're able to pull energy out of this planetary system due to those different corporations and the mechanisms of how we're actually living our lives here.
Brother, you just made a very great, excellent point where actually it can transition to me. It can actually transition what I wanted to speak about regarding that, because you're absolutely correct. Contemporary science that we're seeing, the NASA program and all of this and all of that, it's completely against, because on this channel we do things from a biblical perspective. It's completely against what the real course of the luminaries in general. And they're not given the full meaning, as you said earlier. And are you familiar with the Book of Enoch by any chance?
Somewhat, yes. I'm very familiar with a lot of the things that are coming out of the Bible. In specific, I know a little bit about the Book of Enoch, and exactly how you said. A lot of the information that is put out inside of these texts and these biblical scriptures and texts have a great correlation of what's going on right now, and even more so, I've actually been able to decode and decipher a lot of what's coming out, because a lot of those things that are coming in those books are not literal.
Exactly.
Literally.
Exactly. I just wanted to actually quantify some things using the Book of Enoch, but for the listeners' sake, for those who are not familiar with who Enoch is, Enoch was actually referenced in the Holy Scriptures. He was a prophet that was actually translated into another realm after basically helping judge the fallen angels. He was basically, basically translated by the Most High because of his excellence and his righteousness. And, he has scriptures that are referred to in the Bible, but I'll be reading from the Book of Enoch to give you a biblical reference on the Bible's take of the course of the luminaries, I'm just going to read something brief here because this actually ties right into what we're speaking about right now. And it's actually quantify a little bit more of the situation of what's actually taking place on a metaphysical and spiritual realm. So I'm going to read Book of Enoch chapter 72. And I'm not going to read much of it, but I'm going to read enough to just to bring out a point here. It says, the book of the courses of the luminaries of the heaven, the relation of each according to their classes, their dominion, and their seasons, according to their names, places, and origins, and according to their months, which Uriel, the holy angel who was with me, who is their guide, showed me and showed me all. The logs exactly as they are, and how it is with the regards all the years of the world and unto eternity, till the new creation. It's talking about creating a new heaven and new earth, as the book of Revelation say. And for those who want to know what's going on right now, basically Enoch is being showed by angels what goes on with the luminaries, the sun, the moon, the stars, regarding time. See, back in those times, they used astrology and astronomy. But nowadays, let's not get it twisted. Astrology can be a very slippery slope in the witchcraft. So you must be careful when actually studying astrology and studying the zodiac signs, but they do have relevance. They have relevance on how we are, and it has relevance on time, and it has relevance on personalities. But it becomes witchcraft when someone uses a zodiac sign in order to basically manipulate another individual based on character traits, or when people use it to prejudge. It becomes an instrument that's basically detrimental. See, this is what happens when these malevolent dark forces fail. They took certain things that would help us, the biblical sciences and biblical astrology and astronomy, things that would help us basically determine time, the times we're living in, and they basically corrupted it and made it something wicked. But I'm gonna continue reading just to get to some of the times we're living in right now, and what the course of the luminaries are opposed to what mainstream contemporary science says. Verse 2 says, in this first law of the luminaries, the luminary, the sun, has its rising in the eastern portal of the heavens and is setting in the western portal of the heavens. And I saw 6 portals in which the sun rises, and 6 portals in which the sun sets. And the moon rises and sets in these portals, and the leaders of the stars, those whom they lead, 6 in the east, 6 in the west. So according to biblical history, instead of what you think, what science tells you that the planets circle around the sun, is actually incorrect. According to biblical history, the sun actually travels through portals. And if you look in Islam, they actually pray 6 times a day to each portal, to each course of the sun. That's not by any chance. That's all history. And also, it says it's 6 on the east and 6 in the west. That equals 12. There are 12 zodiac signs, correct? And it all goes for each month. And this actually helps determine time here. So what's going on is the course of the sun and what happens to the sun. I'm not going to even go into the moon because there's information on the moon as well. But right now we're talking about the solar eclipse. So when it comes to the sun, it basically actually shows you basically how time is dispersed and what particular astrological sign that we're in at the moment. Right now we're coming into the age of Aquarius, and that's according to a lot of astrologists and things like that. So what's taking place right now is the sun being eclipsed is basically ushering in a new time span. And this new time span means a whole lot. I mean, it means a lot. It means a lot in the book of Revelations. We're in a time where things are being revealed on a mass level, but not only on the positive side, but on the negative side as well. And I'm actually want to talk about how it's going to affect people in general, on a negative or a positive level. Depends what frequency you choose to basically follow. But yes, brother, would you like to have any feedback to that?
Yeah, man, that's actually really groundbreaking. that was you decoding the Book of Enoch at its finest. And it's, as you said, again, contemporary science has lost the understanding of how these celestial beings work. And notice that I said beings, because these celestial bodies are not without consciousness. These celestial bodies have a order from the Most High as well.
Most definitely.
So, with that being said, the ancient civilizations knew all of this. Ancients knew to use contemporary science and the things that you can measure, but also natural sciences that equivalated to a higher science, such as astrology, numerology, cosmology. All of these different natural sciences human beings are not using to the full potential these days because they are misused. And as you said, they can be dangerous if used in a malevolent way.
Oh, yeah.
With regards to how astrology works, it goes hand in hand with modern day contemporary science and astronomy. If you don't have one without the other, it's going to be miskewed. It's going to be it's going to be a misconception. And as you said, you are totally 100% right, and I'm going to get to the code in that on a video very soon. The Earth and all these different rotations and orbits are not acting and doing the things that they are saying they are, man.
Exactly.
And it's crazy how people are actually feeding into that, and they're just believing it, and they're just selling flat out lies, these things.
Exactly, and it's a reason for it, because they know if we begin to tap into our knowledge that, you know, what's actually going on according to biblical history on this particular subject, they know where it will lead us to. They know that it will lead us to basically seeing what's going to take place when it comes to time. And, you know, a lot of things that let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a show called Stargate? It's an old show. It used to come on.
I've seen excerpts of it.
Yeah, that particular show, it brings a lot of truth to it. They really, the things that they're not just sending things into space to, you know, measure the sky or just see some stars or go to Mars. They're doing all kinds of things in space that we're not hearing about. And I remember at one point in time that every time a rocket would be sent out, it would be like an event on TV. Like, it would be a big deal, and we would know exactly what's going on in space. They would be telling us why the rocket is going out. We would know the names of these rockets. But nowadays, man, they're doing so much, and they're opening portals. They're actually, all the stuff that you believe is science fiction, in fact, is not science fiction. It's reality. It's reality. They're really doing some things that we're just uneducated to what's taking place. But, you know,
Exactly.
if we definitely do the research. Yep.
As the old saying goes, my brother, the truth is stranger than fiction.
Most definitely. Most definitely. You got that right. Hey, we need to find out what's going on in these laboratories. But, I mean, long as you're, you know, following the true history, you'll get a good idea of what's going on, because we're approaching the days of Noah. And we're in those times. In the days of Noah, believe it or not, they had a lot of technology, more technology than they have now. Believe it or not. It's just, it was on a different level. And they were doing things, man, they were making creatures. And where do you think dinosaurs come from? You know what I mean? They were, the movie Jurassic Park, for instance. That movie, you know what I'm saying? They really have places where they can make these kind of species and creatures. There's a lot of stuff that happens. Real talk, man. And but like, as I was saying earlier, I believe that what's taking place is when we go into the age of Aquarius, what we're gonna see is basically, and some of this is opinion, and some of it is based on what I've read and what I've researched. But what we'll see on the positive note is a great awakening, because we'll be ushered into the time of revelations. A lot more brothers and sisters alike will be waking up to who they are and understanding their history, understanding how the world works, seeing things that they've never thought they can see, and they will be revealing. The age of secrecy is ending. Even secret societies are no longer secret.
Exactly.
And that age is over. So with that being said, the powers that be, so to speak, they have things that they will be gaining power over as well. On a negative side, I believe they'll be able to attack individuals on a more astral level. I believe that some of the sciences that they're working with now will be able to inhabit people's vessels in different ways, even through marketing schemes, through marketing on television. I believe the frequencies that they'll be sending out will be basically, the times we live in, it is survival of the fittest. And we will really have to cleave to the Most High and do what it is we're supposed to do to gain our strength and gain our nobility to make it through this, because they'll be gaining powers, but the righteous will be gaining powers as well in this change of the time. Most definitely.
If I could add to that really quick.
Most definitely.
As well. Again, inside of a lot of different ancient religions and prophecies, they're actually speaking about this, and what they're actually saying is that through the mud, through the thickness of this age that we're in, through the strife, there will be more awakening souls because of that as well. Because the thing is, with the evil intensities rising, the seekers have to be struggling that much more. And I'll put it to you this way, I'll put it to you in an analogy. Say, for instance, you go in the gym and you're lifting weights, which I'm very much familiar with myself. If you're lifting weights, the heavier weight that you use, which is progressive overload, the more that you're actually going to be able to stimulate muscle growth. It is the same thing that's actually going on with spiritual growth. The much more repression, the much more negative energy that is actually lying on our auric field, the much more we're actually going to be able to transcend that and be able to adapt to that and actually become a super celestial being, if you will. The sons and daughters of God are actually going to start walking amongst us, if you will, just like how the demons walk amongst us, man.
Most definitely.
All these negative and malevolent entities are it's going to be, again, a spiritual battle, and the spiritual battle is always being waged. I promise you, when you go to sleep at night, that's the thing, people don't understand, but you're not just going to sleep. When you're asleep, you're in a completely different realm. Just like how all these different planets have portals and stargates and all these different things, the human body and the human perception is going through that as well. You are constantly going through different parallel realities. You are constantly going through and stepping through different portals. And now is the time to understand that and learn about this, so that when you go out into the world, so that when you go out into your physical experience, you're not being thwarted, and this energy is not having a reciprocating effect on you as much as it would the person that is being negligent and ignorant to it.
Wow. Man, you just hit the nail. You just hit the hammer right on the nail, brother, with that. You really did, man. You really quantified that, brother. And you're right, man. I believe that these negative forces, and as well as positive forces, we never know when we're entertaining angelic beings. We never know when we're entertaining angelic beings. I mean, you just never know. And I believe that we will be seeing a lot. I mean, you're already seeing things that are just mind-boggling, in my opinion. Sometimes when I get on these sites, I'm seeing things that I'm like, what time are we living in right now? What exactly is taking place? And the reason why I believe that they're really looking at this like a celebration, a lot of people, they can feel the energy of something taking place, and it's something positive or negative. It depends which path you take. But brother, you hit the nail right on the hammer there. I think you got that down pat. Is there anything that you would like to promote? Anything else you would like to say? And I mean, man, this conversation is excellent. I don't even want the show to end, but I got some time allotted, a little more time allotted, and I would actually like you to close out. And man, this conversation has been excellent. I hope the people are really gained some knowledge from this.
Yeah, man, for sure. And what I want to close out with is just a brief in a nutshell of, the solar eclipse, the total solar eclipse, the impact that it's going to have on you, along with a little bit of numerology. I want to break down the numerology a little bit for people.
Okay,
so
get into it.
You can actually see the celestial order in this.
Okay.
The numbers talk. The numbers are evident. So I want to break that down really quick, and then I want to tie it back to how how this is actually going to affect the person spiritually. Because again, if they don't know the spiritual effects of it, they're lost walking souls.
Most definitely.
So let's get into a little bit of the basic astronomy behind solar eclipses. Again, the moon, the way that they're saying that the moon is causing the solar eclipse is actually, there's no physical way that can possibly happen. Number one, because of earth shine and moon shine. If you're knowledgeable, you know that when it's a full moon outside in the nighttime, the moon is getting shot a little bit of the rays of light from the sunshine, and that's why it's able to illuminate the playing field, so to speak, in our physical reality. And that's why during a full moon, everything is still lit up, but it's obviously dark because it's not as light as the sun. It's just a small portion of it. Well, the same thing goes with earth shine. So if we're sitting on the earth and the earth's not being 100% blocked out from the sunlight, there's still going to be rays of light hitting the earth. And the earth is 70% more reflective than the moon is. Why isn't the light from the earth actually being reflected towards the moon? Reason being is, and why are we able to see features on the moon? Reason being is because that's not actually the moon. People need to wake up to this.
Mm-hmm.
The moon is being pushed out of orbit somehow, some way. It is going through some kind of stargate or portal, and something else is actually coming in. Another way that you can see this is that it's coming from west to east. When everybody knows that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah, most definitely.
So how is it that it's traversing, the solar eclipse is traversing from west to east and causing this phenomena to happen? It's physically impossible. So that means to me then that there's some kind of rogue planetary system. And we're not going to go into rogue planets and nodes, but everybody needs to be studying their astronomy, their Vedic astrology, and people need to stop being so in fear about these natural sciences. These natural sciences are there to help you and to help you understand what's going on around you. So let's tap in really quick to the numerology before we actually close out.
Most definitely. Man, take your time, brother. Take your time. We got time. I know I was talking about closing out, but man, this is too much good information, man. Just take your time, brother. Most definitely.
The numerology, as I always say, is the code in the matrix. A lot of people make fun of this whole analogy behind the matrix, but again, the truth is stranger than fiction. And what's actually happening in the Matrix, the movie, is it bears a lot of resemblance to what's happening right now. Obviously, it's not verbatim. It's very slight, but it's slightly above what's actually happening. So with numerology, another natural science that the ancients used all the time, it shows the code within the Matrix. It shows the code within the physical world that we're living in, and how the Most High actually has the ability to work its order inside of our physical life. So let's look at the Great American Eclipse and break it down, the numerology behind that. So again, the Great Solar Eclipse happens on June 8th, 1918. So I'm going to have you do a little bit of math real quick here, brother. June is the 6th month of the year, correct?
Correct.
So 6 plus 8 is 14, correct?
Correct.
Plus 1 from 1998. We're going to go through 1918 now. So we got 15 plus 1 is 16. Plus 1 plus 8 equals to 33. So if we take the whole beginning date, it breaks down to 6 plus 8 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 8, and it equals 33. So now we're going to go through a little bit, and we're going to see August 21st, 2017. So we're going to take 2017 and we're going to subtract 1918, because 1918 was the last time it happened. We're going to see how long in between has this not happened.
Right.
So if you subtract 2017 from 1918, you get 99 years. 99 years in total.
Yeah, that's true.
Now we're going to look at locations and patterns. You remember those two numbers though, 1999 and 33. Obviously you can see even the most basic mathematician And anybody that has some information around arithmetic and math can see that those two numbers obviously go into each other. So looking at the locations and patterns now of the crossing of the solar eclipse, of where it's crossing, you can see that it begins in Oregon. Doing a little bit of background research behind Oregon, the state Oregon, you can see that Oregon is the 33rd state to join the United States.
Wow.
I'm holding my head right now, and I'm shaking my head like, okay, this really can't be. So then we're going to see where the actual eclipse ends. The eclipse ends where you are at right now, my brother, South Carolina, Charleston. So looking into that, I'm like, okay, so how does this really play in? If you look at a map of the Earth and it has all of the latitudes and longitudes on it, you will see that a certain line of latitude crosses over Charleston, South Carolina. And you know what that latitude line is, my brother?
What's that, brother?
It is the 33rd parallel. The north is a circle of the latitude that is 33 degrees north of the Earth's equatorial plane.
Wow.
So we've seen in 99 years in total, in between the date of the last eclipse and the one that's happening on Monday, we're seeing that Oregon is the 33rd state to join the United States where the eclipse begins. We're seeing South Carolina is where the eclipse ends, and it sits on the 33rd parallel. So we're going to fuse this together now. If you divide 99 by 3, you get 33. Again, the starting date, if you add up all the numbers in the starting date, June 6th is the 6th month, plus 8, plus 1, plus 9, plus 1, plus 8, that's 33. So you're seeing all these threes,
that's
33,
quite interesting.
And if you really do your research, and here comes the biblical role in this, in the book of Genesis, go into the book of Genesis and count how many times they mention the Elohim. You get 33. They mention the Elohim 33 times, the ascended angel, the supposed angel that came from above. You see this being mentioned 33 times.
Wow.
If you look into Freemasonry,
33rd degree.
Right. 33 degrees, my brother.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at the sacred Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, you get 3.
That
this is showing everybody, this is numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And this is showing everybody the celestial order inside physical reality with these celestial events. That this is not happening by random. That this is not happening as a phenomenon, an anomaly like most people are thinking. No, this has some kind of order with it.
Oh, definitely.
This is all about.
And that brings us back to how our ancestors actually studied the aligning of the luminaries to actually dictate times. I mean, they use them, and it really shows it. It really proves it, because you got 12 months in a year. You got 12 disciples. You got, that number 12 pops up a lot too. And I mean, you can see how the Bible definitely correlates. People don't understand that the Bible is not just prophecy and history, but it's a book of numerology as well. And you can learn a lot. And man, it's great because you can really learn how to break down natural science. And it brings me to a scripture as well. I want to go to Daniel chapter 25, because the powers that be, they always attempt to change the times that we're living in. They go, they have summer solstice. They shorten months up. They do all kinds of things. But the Bible actually spoke about what your NASA program and what the world does. Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. And he shall speak great word. He shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hands into a time and times and the dividing of time. So they would attempt to change the times. They want to, because it throws you off course spiritually. If you don't know what time span you're in, you don't know exactly what's happening in the spiritual realm. Therefore, you're not aligned with your ancestral lineage, and you're not aligned of what's going on in the world and what you need to be doing in these times. So they attempt to throw you off. And notice it says they would attempt. They would attempt to change your times. They would think to change. They actually can't change time, because the Most High has time. You cannot change time, but they try by throwing us left and throwing us right. You know what I'm saying? Tossing us to and fro, so we don't know what's taking place. in the times we're living. Even with the Sabbath day, instead of us keeping the Sabbath on a Saturday, which is the 7th day of the week, they will have it on the 1st day of the week, giving reference to the sun, the actual sun, the sun. Most definitely. Oh yeah.
Wow, bro. I really like how you broke that down. And you really quantified that on a quantum physics level there. Celestial mechanics really does play a part. Celestial mechanics and all these different organic and natural sciences that they're trying to hide from people. And that's another thing. They know by throwing off the time cycles of people that they're able to, again, not allow us to access our full potential. Because imagine if somebody were to catch on, an arithmetic genius or a genius mathematician, if some genius mathematician was actually able to start decoding, and he wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop decoding. That's how all these different people were able to predict certain events, and you can see different, catastrophes, meteorological timelines and such, and all these other things. You'll be able to see into that world. You'll be able to see into the celestial order, into the different dimension, because the physical human body can't travel there, but our intellect and our souls can.
And if you realize during the biblical times, a lot of the prophets were carried away. It says, and he was carried away in the spirit. They actually knew the times because they were using astronomy to actually be in the correct time span. They were closer to the spiritual realm. So when it says in scripture, he was carried away in the spirit, they were actually going through different universes and seeing different things take place. And that's how they were able to basically prophesy. That's the whole idea of prophecy in the Bible from the Old Testament, whether it be the book of Isaiah or it would be in Numbers. They would see things that's happened future tense. And they would actually document these things because they were in the proper time span and they were spiritually closer to the Most High because of that. So it's very important. It's very important to know what's going on with the luminaries. It's very important to know what's going on with the course of the planets and the stars and things like that. As long as you don't let it lead you to a slippery slope of witchcraft, which a lot of teenage girls and guys alike end up going that route because of these malevolent demonic spirits that spell and actually basically found a way to sabotage what's the Most High's gift and lead people into the zodiac worship and witchcraft and different symbolism and things like that. But definitely natural science is groundbreaking. It brings a higher level of understanding and it brings you spiritually closer to the Most High. Yes, indeed.
That's confirmed, brother. And just to real quick tap into that before I go on my effects real quick, and then we're going to wrap up, obviously. But just to touch on that again, as you said, the thing with human beings right now in the place and age that we're in, a lot of them are being twisted by the media and being twisted by society to already go into witchcraft, to already go into lower entity worshiping, to go into Luciferianism, to go into Satanism, by just basically living the way that society is making you live. All these different things, ingesting animal corpses, paying homage to the whole global heliocentric model, and being just basically an Aristotelian, being Aristotle, being a person that only suffices for, or what only suffices for you in your intellect is tangible evidence and contemporary sciences, just by standing inside of that energy field and just by human beings not being able to harness the imagination, the spirit, and the will of the Almighty and the Most High, you are being a satanic cult member.
Yep, most definitely.
So mostly what you're seeing people walking around are Luciferian worshiping people without them even knowing it. And that's what their whole thing was to do in the first place. All this thing with handshakes and all this ratchet music that people are listening to with all these different rappers and such. This stuff is having an impact on people without them even knowing it. And they're doing witchcraft by just going along with the daily cycles, the reciprocations of the government and the economical system.
Oh, most definitely. You ain't lying about that, man. They don't understand the level of low frequencies, what it can actually do to a mind. And
exactly.
Man, it's definitely mind control, and that's why they play the same few songs on the radio. Don't get me started on hip hop. I'm not gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it today.
Yeah, we won't walk down that slippery slope itself, man. But
yeah.
Just to touch on that. So let's get into real quick the Great American Eclipse and its effects on people,
Most
its
definitely.
effects on the world that we may see, and we're gonna close out after that.
Most definitely.
So at a global level, you can already see over the past few months how interdimensionally and how outside of our timeline, the eclipse has already started to happen. I tell people all the time, and I preach this on my channel all the time, that in the etheric realm, things happen before they actually reach the physical realm. So this whole thing of what the solar eclipse is, we are on the cusp right now. It's already happening in the non-physical world. It's already happening in the celestial world. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
These planetary systems and bodies are already moving and affecting your vibrational frequency. So with that being said, the stuff that's been happening, the thing that just happened the other day in Barcelona, the whole thing with the current political system inside of the United States, racism that's going on inside of the United States, and all of these different things with the news medias and news outlets twisting the truth and twisting what's actually going on and writing a narrative at the expense of people's lives and interest, just so that they can gain monetary wealth. All of these different things are not 100% obviously cued towards the eclipse, but a lot of it has to do with that, and that's because when the eclipse happens, the environment is actually becoming conducive for negative energies to amass black energy. And not to say that the color black, what I'm saying is lower vibrational frequencies and patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So when this eclipse happens, whether it's over you 100% or not, it's going to have an effect on you. The farther you away are with the eclipse, the less it has an impact on you. But at the same time, it's going to impact the whole global scale. And through this lowering of vibrational frequencies, a lot of things can happen to the globe, and then we're going to talk about the personal effects too. But just talking about the global effects is negative entities will start to actually plant seeds of gestation. And there's going to be a gestation period, which meaning, it might not all happen. And that's what human beings don't understand. That, okay, the eclipse is happening, but nothing's happening right now. People are saying that all these bad things are going to happen. It's not to say that those things are going to happen right then in the moment. No, these things have time frequencies and have to gestate, just like a plant, just like the seed has to gestate. We are in a realm of duality, so it would behoove of you to pay attention to what's going on during the solar eclipse, internal and external as well. So they say that the duration of the effects of the eclipse range. The solar eclipse has actually a 10-month duration, and the lunar eclipse has a 5-month duration, meaning that within those 10 months from the solar eclipse, when it happens to after, that's when that amassed dark negative energy will be conducive in our environment, meaning that you're going to see more people irritated, you're going to see more people aggressive, you're going to see a lot more things coming up on the news within these next 10 months than you have seen the whole year, all right? And again, to touch back, always remember that energy has a time lapse. So let's just get into the personal effects real quick, brother, and then I'll let you wrap it up if you have any kind of feedback with this.
Okay.
So the personal effects of the spiritual eclipse obviously are going to hit you. Let's just go over the physical first. A lot of people are going to be feeling off. They're going to have mood swings. They're going to have different psychological impediments and disorders come up in their day-to-day life. A lot of people will experience even minute things such as lethargy, not wanting to get up, eating too much, again, anger, aggression, sadness, boredom. All these low-lying energy frequencies will actually start to settle inside of your heart if you do not protect yourself. And we'll go into some protection just in a minute as well. So the way that this plays its actual role is that it puts a stunt in people, and it brings also back regression in the part of ancestral problems. If people do not understand that in your lineage, when your grandparents pass, when your great-grandparents pass, when your parents pass, no matter what it is, their energy bodies and the things that they went through on this planet are still residing inside your DNA. It's encoded inside your DNA. If you don't do your best to live spiritually, because spiritual energy is the only thing that can uplift those regressions, those part ancestors and their basic bad habits, if you will, and the things that they went through will come back inside of your life. So you have to do your best to always basically level the playing field with those kind of energies and with your ancestors. When it comes to solar and lunar eclipses, it seems that the lunar eclipse has more effect on the mind, but the solar eclipse has more of an effect on the soul, which is obvious. A lunar eclipse will cause people to more bad decisions, have problems with their mental state, and just that part of the sacred trinity, which is the mind. But the solar eclipse makes it 10 times more again, and people have troubles like regressions. Some people will even be seeing that's going through a tribulation, problems from departed ancestors, and it's just all funny how this unraveled. Just going off on a tangent really quick.
Oh, no problem, brother.
Before I actually started to uncover all the truth and the great and all that is started to feed me this information, because I get fed this information through my life through certain actions, and I'm forced. It's kind of like I'm forced to. I have this inner desire to go and look for these things. Before this actually happened, I was not really on these cues. I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. I was out in physical reality. I was just weightlifting, not really being, conscious as 100% as I know I could. But all of a sudden, when I was playing football one day, I broke a small bone of my ankle. My father-in-law came back and told me, hey, something wants you to be still right now. So maybe that's just the best thing for you to do. You've been moving around a lot. Everybody knows you're always moving around, or you're always, athletic, and you're always trying to do some kind of sport. Maybe right now is the time. As soon as that happened to me, brother, stuff started to decode itself to me in my business. As if it was a part of the great plan for me to be here with you today.
Most definitely.
What we're discussing.
Oh yeah, it was definitely meant to happen, brother. And I'm definitely we're having a great conversation. I think a lot of people are going to learn from this, and this is going to be excellent. I would definitely like to add to the personal effects. It brings.
Sure, go ahead, man.
I believe it brings us back to who's actually responsible. And what I mean is those fallen, malevolent, demonic spirits that we spoke about earlier. The ones who basically sabotaged the real meanings of the astronomy and the astrology. I believe that that a lot of demonic possession is going to be taking place on the negative side. I believe that because they're the ones responsible, and I believe that they actually gained another entrance through some sort of portal or something in the spiritual realm that's taken place, that they gained another entrance, enabled and basically for them to inhabit more people. And so what's important is to really arm yourself, as you said earlier, brother, and really gain that knowledge, build the endurance and truth. Fill your mind, body, and spirit with good things. Whatever you put into your vessel, that's what you're gonna get out. If you constantly, most definitely, if you keep feeding yourself with worldly things and things of the flesh, you'll begin to basically receive things of the flesh. But if you basically look into spiritualism, look into your culture, if you eat the right foods, high alkaline, low calorie dense foods, things that give you energy, you'll reap the benefit of spiritual things and good things. So, I know that's a very simple way of putting it, but that's kind of how I see it at this point. And this is just, bringing awareness to what's taking place in the validity, of the times that we're living in. So,
Exactly. And as you said, as you stated, people that are living that are centered inside of the heart, are living from the heart and are doing their best to be conscious and be spiritual during this very breathtaking time that we're in, being that the eclipse is right around the corner. Again, I said earlier, when we're put in this situation where there's a lot of negative energy, if you put your best foot forward, nothing but positive energy is going to come your way. So imagine that. Let's say 1 out of 50 people of this whole planetary system is going to be inside that correct alignment. People that are listening to this, other people that are, starting to catch on to it before it happens, they're going to settle themselves inside of their heart center. Those people are even at a higher frequency than they do now. You see what I'm saying? It's reflecting. It's refracting.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
But if you settle inside of that low energy level, then that's what's going to happen to you too. So real quick, I got a couple of tips for a conscious protocol for people to follow, and then I'm going to pass it off to you, bro, to kiss this baby goodbye, you know?
All right. Sounds good, brother. What you got?
So, quick, in my conscious protocol, I just have a few do's and don'ts to do during, obviously, the 12-hour period before and through the solar eclipse. So it's always intelligent to take at least half a day before an event happens like this to center yourself, and then to remain centered throughout the whole day until the next day comes. So again, do spiritual practice. Whatever spiritual practice you can find comes best to you. Like me, I'll be going to the chapel, I'll be sitting in meditation, I'll be sitting in prayer, and obviously I'll be doing my mantras and anything that I can that will be able to multiply my spiritual energy to make sure that my auric field and my force field, because every human being has an aura field or a force field that protects them, that mine is 100% in moving. Number two thing that I would say to do is to refrain from eating during that period of time, during that 36 hours. I know it's really hard for a lot of people, but if you do eat, make sure, again, like Brother Nubreed said, that it's not very calorie dense food, because during that 12-hour period before and during the solar eclipse, as this is happening, food actually starts to break down molecularly and it becomes tainted. So you'll see a lot of people are going to get stomach viruses, get the stomach flu, and you're going to see in your daily environment, people are going to be throwing up, having the BZs, all this other stuff, because the food actually becomes tainted. And the less cosmic energy food holds, being that, animal products, animal corpses, the more of those products that people eat, it's going to be even worse than if you were eating a plant-based alkaline diet. See what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Another thing that you can do, obviously, it's 12 hours, but another thing that you can, 12 hours before and then through the solar eclipse, another thing that you can do, though, is go to the nature or a place that has a high cosmic energy. Places in nature, like the ocean, you're over there in Charleston, brother, it wouldn't even hurt you. It would benefit you to the most high to get out to a very clean beach.
Oh, yeah.
To the forest, to get out to somewhere that has a lot of divine energy, because these places that the nature have divine energy, it will only amplify your auric field and your force field and allow it to protect you. All right.
All right. Great advice, brother. Great advice.
So going into the don'ts really quick, and then I'll pass it to you. I'll pass the mic to you to end the night, man.
All right. Sounds good.
So one of the don'ts is do not engage in any activities that promote hatred, violence, anger, sadness, or any other low-lying energy. Don't play these video games. Don't play music that has hateful words in it or are promoting, the downfall of your brothers and sisters, i.e. talking about drug dealing or having sex that's obviously without matrimony or without any kind of intention of love. Don't plan important functions. This is a very specific one. Don't plan important functions where you're going to try to becoming and reaching a decision on something. Your decision abilities are impaired during this time, and it's not the best time to cast or plant a seed for something that's going to be manifesting for you in the future in these days, because it may mean its demise more than usual. Another thing, again, don't eat food or drink overly sugary beverages. My best thing to say, fast again for those 36 hours, 12 hours before, and all the way through the solar eclipse. Just drink water, lemon, or apple cider vinegar with that water. That should suffice and give your body as many natural elements that it needs to obviously carry out daily tasks. But not only that, you can see this as a time of great cleanse, which again will reciprocate inside your environment and make your environment and your physical reality more condoning to higher energies. The last but not least, the last two that I'm gonna say is don't shout or get angry. Don't provoke entities to lay and settle around you. And last but not least, this is the most important one. Do not watch or stand in the eclipse's shadow, everyone. I'm telling you this right now.
Most definitely.
If you stand and watch or sit inside of the eclipse's shadow, best be advised that your auric field will be deteriorated, and that will allow many different things to settle inside your auric field. That's all I got, brother.
Wow, brother, that was great advice. Great advice. I want to close out just basically leaving a scripture. I want to close out with a scripture, and I want to go to Psalms 91:9. And it reads, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. So I just close saying that because we got to keep in mind that at the end of the day, the Most High is the one we run to be our habitation. You know what I mean? We have to quantify that. I just want to leave it at that because I want us to know that through all things, through the Most High, we can do and we can accomplish this and we can conquer these perilous times that we're facing. With that being said,
Amen, brother, I really agree with that. And it's just so amazing that the times that we're in, because you can really see that the human spirit is starting to come through, and these scriptures are actually coming to life right in front of us now.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Again, the book of Revelation and a lot of the things that they're speaking about, the book of Enoch, all these different scriptures and all these different themes that are presented in the scriptures and analogies are actually starting to come to life and kind of jump off the page at you. So it really puts you in the shoes of the spiritual warrior. It really puts you in the shoes of, being a soldier for God and not for the physical.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Man, this was a great show, brother. I really appreciate you, man. Let me close out on this real quick. You all stay blessed. Thank you all for listening. Is anything that you would like to promote, brother, before I close?
Yes, of course. Obviously, just go and find my channel, Energy. You type in MJ Energy on that search bar on YouTube. You will be led to my page.
And I'll definitely make sure they'll have access to your page from my end. And
for sure, man. Definitely check out the solar eclipse video. My presentation is a 40-minute presentation that I break down everything, the things that we could not cover in this August. Definitely, I want to send thanks to my brother Nubreed for reaching out to me.
Most definitely.
I feel like this is just one of the starting blocks to what we're going to accomplish together as a dynamic duo.
Most definitely. Most definitely. With that being said, shalom and peace.